If you've been following the crypto market this weekend, you witnessed one of the worst sell-offs that we've had in years. I didn't really see a lot of what happened coming. ETH Bitcoin fell much lower than I anticipated it would. Bitcoin dominance broke out. And, now the market's more or less recovered in less than a day. So, what exactly is going on? There's a lot of strange things happening, strange tweets on Twitter. Eric Trump tweeted today, not the worst time to buy Ethereum, and said something about thanking me later. And then he deleted that. And, you can see that in my Telegram channel if you want to look there. So what's going on? What can we expect from Bitcoin? I need to just do a full reevaluation. I got a few things really like dead wrong based on what happened this weekend. So it's time to kind of go back to the drawing board and look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everything else. I'm trying not to make this too long of a video, but I wanted just to do a crypto market overview. And the title of this video is Manipulation, because I believe that the crypto markets are manipulated by people with a lot more money and influence than we have. So all we can really do is ride the waves and watch, listen, and learn. This is crypto simulation theory. I'm the Gaussian snake. Please like, subscribe, it says channel and all that stuff. Join my Telegram if you want more alpha each day. And it's entirely free. Until then, this is not financial advice. Let's go ahead and move on to the analysis. So we have Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And I threw on some Bollinger Bands because I feel like, while I am still cautiously bullish on Q1 of this year, I am a little concerned about how long it might take for us to break out again. If you look at what happened in the last leg up that went from October of 2023 to around April, the Bollinger Band pattern was pretty similar, kind of narrowing down into a compression zone or a really long broadening descending wedge. We're seeing kind of a rounding out of the Bollinger Band again, which is coinciding with some other things like resistance at the 1.272. We did actually hit the median line of the Bollinger Band in the past. This could represent a really nice bounce. That still could happen. Well, we have to be open to more crabbing as well. So I think we have to look beyond just the chart into the bottoming indicators to get a good idea, a good sense of what's happening. Volume in general has been declining over time. But this macro structure still looks bullish. The Gaussian channel actually just inflected concave up, which is bullish. So that's a good sign, a really good sign. Let's go ahead and turn on some moving averages and see what's going on there. While there's not a compression going on the Bollinger Bands, there is a compression going on the moving averages. And this is a little similar to what we saw back here in April. So I don't really know if we're about to head into an extended crab period. Again, we'll have to just kind of, look deeper into the indicators to figure that out, or if we're going to break out. But we are definitely having resistance at the 20-week HMA, which sits just above the 1.272 fib, yet we're holding support very reliably on the 50-week HMA, which sits around 97K. We've got the 100-week down below as 89.8K. We haven't tested the 100-week in quite a while. We fell below it in June, but we haven't come down to test it since then. So is there a chance that we test 100-week before blasting off again, and have to crab in the meantime? It sure is possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. It could happen. We do have that golden cross though that we had on December 16th, and I've told you it's not uncommon or unusual at all to dump into a golden cross, just like it's not unusual to pump out of a death cross. And that's something we predicted a long time ago on the channel would happen. We also predicted a dump after surpassing the death cross. So the question is, where do we dump to? Do we dump to the 50-week? Is this it? Or do we dump to the 100-week? Is that next? So I'm not really sure. I don't know. We're going to have to look at some more metrics to see what the probabilities are saying. But this is just what the moving averages are telling us. So we have a potential death crossing coming if we just turn those back on. Sorry, I mean turn those off so quickly on the 20 and the 50. I don't know if it will materialize or not. I wouldn't really enjoy it if it did, but we'll just have to see. There are times when you have a situation like this and Bitcoin gets above it and there's no death cross. So we can't really assume that there will be one or that there won't be one. Okay, this is our 135-week, very strong linear regression channel with 2 standard deviations from the mean in either direction. This goes all the way back to the lows of 2022. Actually, even before those lows, it goes back to June of 2022. This channel has been holding very, very well. The first time we breached the top of the channel was in March, and we didn't quite make it there this time around. We had 2 wicks now to the median line. Last night's wick took us to the median line, and we held support there. We look like we're kind of going sideways right into it. So, I don't know. This doesn't really give me any big clues as to what's going to happen. It just shows me we're riding the median line, and quite honestly, price does spend most of the time in the middle. That's just a fact. That's what a median line is all about. So I don't know. Are we going to break out of this channel, this bull market, or are we going to pretty much stay in it and then break to the downside? That is something I really do not know, because it just depends on how long things take. Like, for instance, the top of the channel in August of 2025 is 192K. And I have a really hard time seeing us go much higher than that if we were to make it to August with the bull market, which I think is a likely outcome. If we were to go to, like, let's say December of 2025, that's 237K. So my base case, honestly, is that this channel preserves and is held to the upside. I think if it breaks, it most likely breaks to the downside much later on. This is a very slow moving bull market, and I think that's one of the things that we're not quite used to, and which is even tripping me up a little bit. I'm bullish on Q1, but it's like hard to really justify that with the kind of price action we've been having. And maybe we have more crabbing. Maybe Q1 continues with the crab trend. Again, we'll have to look under the hood and see what's going on to kind of like determine if this is like a likely a double bottom on the median line and off we go up here in, let's say, like March to 140K. That could happen. I could see a definite argument for that happening. Or we crab a little bit longer and then go higher later in the year. So I don't know. I mean, I think we are going to go up sooner than later. I still think Q1 will mark a turning point. Now, here's an argument that favors the longer cool off argument. Or here's I should say, a metric that favors it. So you'll see this is the MFI oscillator volume profile trendoscope. I pulled it up on the Coinbase exchange. This is the overbought green area, and then the red is the oversold area. We hit oversold last time in July of 2024. That marked a new uptrend that ended in December of 2024. Okay. Previous time we hit overbought was in December of 2023. Anytime you have these spikes up, though, that does represent a continuation of an up leg. It's just the overall trend is still kind of, you can see like here we were November 23. I mean, we did put in a higher high in February and in April, but the trend was already kind of heading down. So, and then the crab trend kind of ended in July, and we still saw some downward pressure even on the way down. Finally, we got to the overbought region again, and here we are trending down. So we could see a nice spike, and this is sort of what I think is likely to happen is we may come down a little further. Like, I'm not sure Bitcoin has established its lows yet. It may have. I don't know. I really don't know. But regardless, I think, you do get bounces on the way down. It's just what that's suggesting to me is that whatever leg up happens next is probably going to be brief. It's probably not going to last very long. So if let's say that leg up were to happen, for instance, in March, then I think that leg up might only last for a few weeks, maybe a month at most, and then it's going to roll back over again. And my hope is that leg could at least get us to the 1.414 fib level, which is at around 130K. Like, that's what I hope for, maybe even 140K, which is the top of that log channel. That would allow for Ethereum and altcoins to really move in a meaningful way, something we haven't seen in a little while. So this pattern does look bearish right now. So I think, it's possible price does come down a little bit, lower. MFI comes down a little bit lower, which just means probably just some more crabbing, in both directions, ranging. That's going to chop up altcoins, unfortunately, a little bit more, which is kind of a sad thing if that plays out. So this is a metric I haven't really looked at in a while, and it does sort of suggest a continuation to this crab trend. Another metric that's giving me concern is the ADX and DI. It looks like the trend strength is around 52, and that's a very strong trend. But the green DI has just been falling like a rock. I'm not enjoying seeing that happen. And I also, you see the cross of the ADX with the green DI. That's also generally not a great sign. Last time that happened was in December. Just a few months later, we put in our top. So I'm hoping that this will have a bullish divergence. And like I said, this metric also suggests that if we have an uptrend occur in the next few months, it's probably going to be very brief. That's what this is suggesting. Okay, another brief uptrend. And we should see the ADX roll over again, and Bitcoin will probably crab at higher levels than where it's at now. I would be perfectly fine with that if that occurred. Average sentiment oscillator looks a little bit rough. It did hit some pretty high levels in December of 24. And now it's down. It's gone lower. So you saw what happened after April 24. We just kind of traveled all the way down and had a bear bubble. This corresponded to our crab trend. Is that going to happen again? Honestly, I don't know. It's something to just keep in mind that it could happen. Not that it will happen, but it could happen. Or it could also happen is we end up with a situation somewhat reminiscent of 2017. I don't think it would extend for as long as 2017 did. I honestly think if we get a move up here, it might not even take us back to the top of the range and the ASO. Okay, I think it could just be like a lower high, and that's what I think is a likely outcome. Okay, I think a lower high is a likely outcome. Again, corresponding to a very brief uptrend. Now, the good news is the on-balance volume overall is trending up. So even though price is kind of crabbing around, seeing the OBV go up is a good sign. This is bullish. So I think like the pieces of the puzzle are coming together to suggest that Bitcoin is likely to have another leg up, not crab for too much longer, but that leg up is going to be abbreviated. And if I had to guess where it's going to stop out, I think somewhere a little bit above the 1.414 fib level, maybe in March or even into April, sometime in I think, in this quarter or even early quarter two, before Bitcoin rolls over again at higher levels, ideally. The OBV is bullish, so that's a good sign. I know it's a little bit hard to see this, but the Trix bubble is in a clear downtrend. It has broken through the moving average band, and so we can hope for is maybe like this starts to make the turn, and it's been crabbing for a while. Even with this move up, it's nothing as impressive as what happened in 2020. January 2021, that was huge. We haven't seen any movements quite like that since. But yeah, it's trending down right now. So probably, like I said, some more crabbing in the short term. Yeah, I think what my conclusion right now, based on the data that I've seen, is that Bitcoin is quite likely to crab for maybe a few more weeks, and then take off. It could take off later this month. It could take off in March. And I think that you can look at this leg. This leg was briefer than this leg here. So I think this next leg is going to be even briefer. So if I put the fibs back on, let's go to where is it? Where are my fibs? Oh, you know what? I'm in Coinbase. Let me get out of Coinbase 1 second. So if I had to like draw a path, I would probably say we crab a little bit more, and then we go up to around here, and then somewhere around 141,000, I think we'll come back down and crab for, I think price will come down from there. So that's my projected path. And you can see it makes sense. If you look at the parabolic legs, you could consider this one long parabolic leg, or maybe you want to consider this a parabolic leg, a shorter parabolic leg. And I think finally an even shorter parabolic leg should mark some kind of intermediate cycle top for quite a while. I'm not sure how low Bitcoin would come down in this hypothetical move. This is just one possibility. There's also the longer crab trend that ends up something like this. That is not my base case, but it's something we should at least consider as a possibility. Bitcoin dominance is currently at 61.27%. Honestly, I thought this was going to be a dead cat bounce, and I was just dead wrong on that. Dead wrong. I did mention the possibility of a higher high in my video, but it wasn't my base case. And not only that, but we broke out of my green zone even. Like we went all the way to the 786 fib, which was pretty strong. I think this is the top for Bitcoin dominance. I do. I don't think Bitcoin dominance will go any higher. But is Bitcoin dominance about to roll over right now, like into the grave? I don't think it's that far away from having a nice rollover. I really don't. I mean, Gaussian channel still concave down, widening. We've already dipped into it once, so there's weakness already showing there. I really can't imagine that this has much steam left in it. I mean, maybe as long as Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does make that brief move to the upside, it should keep Bitcoin dominance fairly intact during the first part of that move. But then I think Bitcoin dominance will likely experience some difficulty after that point, and probably, firmly be in a bear market. Clearly it wasn't in a bear market just yet. But look at this latest upside move, didn't even make it into the red zone. So Unless Bitcoin dominance has a shocking move to like its previous highs at the 1 fib, which I really don't think is going to happen, we should roll over. So Bitcoin dominance, maybe you can get, look at all these bearish divergences, so many of them, but it never really had that full rollover. If we go to the monthly time frame on Bitcoin dominance, I mean, it just broke through its red Gaussian channel. That's pretty impressive after printing a bearish divergence dot. So I have to think there'll be another bearish divergence dot that takes this thing down. Probably, if not this month, then in March. I don't think Bitcoin dominance has much life left in it. It's been running so strong for so long that it's just really hard to see an argument for this having too much more steam, and it's facing a lot of resistance. 786 was a pretty swift rejection. I mean, look at this candle, just straight on down. So yeah, I think Bitcoin dominance will be rolling over later this quarter. We don't want to see it roll over in a dramatic way. That's not good for the market, but at least roll over to allow alts some room to run. And ETHBTC, oh my goodness. Talk about getting something wrong. So my red zone that I had on this channel, which is between 0.03 and 0.04, got absolutely destroyed in the past week. We broke underneath it, but just like I think Bitcoin dominance topped, I think ETHBTC already, I think it bottomed. I think 0.023, I mean, this was a lot lower than I thought it would go. We're honestly not that far off of the 2019 low, which was 0.01635. So unless you want to see Bitcoin, Ethereum be a bleeder against Bitcoin, a macro bleeder, and just look how overextended we are from the red Gaussian channel. I think we bottomed for ETHBTC. So, and I did notice last night that a lot of altcoins that are denominated in Ethereum held up much better than ones that were denominated in Solana or on other chains. So really encouraging to see that and supporting the thesis that Ethereum season is coming. Now, of course, you don't just come down to the depths here and then just rock it off immediately. As you can see, even back in September of 2019, there was certainly some mean reversion to the 236 fib, and then sort of like a double bottom in January of 2020, and a lot of crabbing until things really started to take off later in 2020. So I don't see us just immediately going off to the 618 fib. Chances are we're going to have to try to reclaim the 382. We could come back down for later in the year. It's possible, but I would like to see us sort of build out some kind of base here in the next few weeks, which I think is likely to happen, and turn around and start to challenge the 382 to 0.5 fib level and try to really build out something to suggest ETH is back, and get this Gaussian channel to inflect. So I think the remainder of Q1 is going to be building out strength for Ethereum against Bitcoin, as I think Bitcoin dominance starts to show some weakness. That is definitely my base case. If we go to the wave trend, let's see if we printed a green dot. I doubt we have yet, but it's possible. Look how low we are. The only time we went lower than this on the weekly time frame was October of 2023. So I think ETHBTC is bottomed. I do. Does that mean that this next candle has to be green next week? It doesn't mean that, but I don't think we're going to take out this low. I don't. And this felt so manipulated. This felt so manipulated. So maybe we spend another week in the red. I don't know, but I think ETHBTC is going to start to make the turn very soon, and just start establishing a bottoming process, hopefully coinciding with an upward leg by Bitcoin that takes us to the 1.414 fib. I don't think ETHBTC will be red against Bitcoin during that entire upward leg should it occur, but certainly during the beginning parts of it, you could see ETHBTC probably show some more, continue to show some weakness. But if Bitcoin's going up, I don't expect ETHBTC to dramatically drop, right? I think it might drop a little bit, but I think this is it. That's the bottom. So what I think is going to happen, if we go on the KZX RSI, let's take a look and see if we've got any signs. I think we have some signs of bullish divergence that have been happening for a while. Yeah, look at all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I really think this is it. Okay, I think that was the bottom on ETHBTC. It was slower than I thought it would be. I really thought we would have a battle at the 0.382 and win that battle. We did not. We lost that battle, and so now we have to reclaim it. That's going to take a little bit of time, and maybe some of the resistance we hit might be on a Bitcoin rally to the upside. Okay, so that's where I stand with ETHBTC and Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins, I mean, what can I say about them? Less I say, the better, right? they're still holding their Gaussian channel. Look at that, a wick right to the median line of the green Gaussian. So that's bullish, and a macro high or low on the weekly. This is others. Still looks good. Like, even though last night was brutal and altcoins are not doing great, that's still a pretty nice move right there. Let me see if I got fibs that I can turn on here. Oh, I don't think I ever made fibs for others. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so if we look on others, where are we at? We wicked to the 618 and held that. That's beautiful. Look at all the support we have between the 0.5 and the 618. I don't think we go below the 618 again. So others is looking like, it's I mean, like I said, it could still trend down a little bit. It's okay if it does. If we throw on some moving averages, let's see where others is at with the moving averages. Again, I use whole moving averages. Well, it looks like they're oh yeah, this doesn't look so great for the 20. So the 20 week is coming down sharply. I mean, obviously it's more volatile than Bitcoin's 20 week. I think a death cross probably will happen at the 20 and the 50. We held support on the 200 week, so I think that continues to probably hold. Yeah, but the death cross means probably some ranging and maybe some rejection at the 786. Now, would we come back and test the 618 a second time? We could. I'm open-minded to that idea, but I think it would hold even if we did. So that's a pretty big drop for altcoins. Like, I don't think altcoins are out of the woods yet. Like, let me be clear about that. Even though I think, like, if you have a long enough time horizon this year, I still think altcoins are going to do great. But I don't think that they're going to turn around and say, like, tomorrow, right? Like, I think there's still some more time that altcoins will have to consolidate somewhere between the 618 and 786 while Bitcoin sorts itself out, right? Bitcoin's got to do its thing. Like, so here's the bottom. Sorry, I cut myself off there. Well, here's the bottom line. Like, here's what's going on. Bitcoin right now is ranging. It's ranging between 89K and we'll just say 109K. I think that ranging could very likely continue for a few more weeks. But what I'm seeing is sort of like, I'm seeing a move from Bitcoin to the 1.414, slightly above, a very brief move. This is what I'm seeing right now. And if I end up being wrong about this, it'll be one more thing I'm wrong about. I have to just call the data as I see it. Not going to get these things right all the time. And then I see maybe halfway through that move, ETH Bitcoin starting to show some relative strength and altcoins starting to also recover. So will this happen in February? I don't think altcoins are going to necessarily look great in February, but they might start to turn around in March. So I think relatively soon we should see some strength from altcoins. Could be a few months. I honestly can't tell you. There's a death cross coming on the 20 and the 50. Last time we had a death cross like that, it was brutal. So I don't think it's going to be as brutal as the last time, but I can't prove that to you either. And the reason why I say that is because there's a higher high that we achieved above the 886 compared to the 786 high from before. So I think whatever low we put in will be a higher low above the 618 fib. And just to go back to that, so you know what I'm talking about, there's the chart, right? So you can see where the 618 fib is at about $235 billion. And the 886 was at 400 billion. So I think we range between the 618 and 786, probably in a slightly bearish way, maybe for a little while. And then, just kind of crabby until it takes off. Might March be too soon? It could be. It's really hard to time these things exactly, but I'm kind of eyeing late February, maybe at the soonest, earliest, and then sometime in March or even early April for a move to really get going. We need Bitcoin to take off first. I think if ETH Bitcoin has bottomed, I think Ethereum will start to show strength against Bitcoin, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. So if your portfolio is Bitcoin heavy, things probably still look really good for you. But I will say that I don't think a Bitcoin heavy portfolio is necessarily going to serve you super well for the rest of this year. There may be times where Ethereum will outperform. There will be times, I think, when Ethereum is going to dramatically outperform Bitcoin. So having some Ethereum exposure or exposure to Ethereum related altcoins could be a good idea. This is not financial advice. So thank you for joining me for a crypto market update. And I hope you enjoyed the content. Go ahead and like the video if you did. Let me know your thoughts below about what I think about my thesis for Bitcoin and Ethereum and altcoins. And if you really enjoyed the content, subscribe to my channel and join me in Telegram. I have a Telegram channel where I post a lot of content. I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, so you can join me there if you enjoy short form content or just reading posts. So either way, I'll see you in the crypto simulation next time. Bye.